Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Shiko the Tech Girl. So I want to explore a new field in tech, that is web development, and I will be taking you along the journey. So from the start, setting up, downloading the applications that I'll be running the code from, and all those nice things. So I'll start sharing my screen. And then we'll go to Google. I think the the first thing that we have to download, I'm thinking of using Visual Studio Code, and I think I can find a Microsoft Learn module. Microsoft Learn module. Um, Visual Studio. So let's look at this one. Mm, okay, this seems like a lot of work. Okay, install and configure Visual Studio Code for C# development. I think this will help us, although we are not going to use that programming language. So let's do this module first. Let's navigate to this link, download for Windows. Then let's duplicate the screen in case there are further instructions. Okay, it's downloading. Yes, code setup. Okay, still downloading. And then the first one is done. Accept. Next. Let me choose create a start menu folder. And then also create a desktop icon. In case I don't want to look for it, I just want to click the desktop and find the application. So let's look at the documentation if there's any other thing that we have to do. Wait for the installer file to finish downloading. Install Visual Studio Code. So we have done all that. Okay. Examine the next unit will be to examine the Visual Studio Code user interface. So I believe the setup is complete. And next thing it will open the Visual Studio user interface. So before we proceed to configure anything else, let's proceed with our documentation. Examine the main areas, the main sections included in the Visual Studio Code user interface. So we have the main menu here, and then the sidebar. Let's try to drag it and see if the sidebar will be visible. Yes, there's the sidebar. And then we have our editor here, and then the panel when we run our code, and definitely the status bar, which you'll see after running our code. So all those areas, and then explore the Visual Studio Code user interface. If you open the Windows Start menu, you'll see Visual Studio Code listed as. Okay, we don't need to do all that. Opens are welcome. So they're telling us to select Explorer. Let's see if Explorer will do anything. The sidebar should open and display contextual form. Okay. So this is where we'll have all the extensions that we want. On the terminal menu, select. So to view the file menu option, select File. New open save to open a new project or save a running project. Edit menu options. Let's look at the edit menu options. You can undo, you can redo, you can do all these things, cut, copy, paste, replace. Open the terminal menu, select new terminal. I'm trying to see where the terminal menu is. On the terminal menu, select new terminal. Okay. Skipping through the documentation. Okay, let's try to hover through all these things and see if we can see the terminal menu. Okay, let's go back to our documentation. Okay. Can switch between the tabs, problems, output, debug, console. Yeah, so the terminal menu is at view and then terminal. So in the terminal menu, you can see all these options: problems, output, debug, console, terminal, ports. The terminal panel can be used to run CLI commands. You'll be using .NET CLI commands later in this module. In the upper right corner of the terminal, select X to close the terminal. Why does this look okay? This one, the other one was going to close the whole thing. And then at the command palette, prompt type extensions. On the view menu, select command palette. So here, and then command palette, and then on the command palette, you can select extensions. So let's go back to view and then command and then extensions. You can see all these extensions that you can do. Install extensions, show popular extensions, clean up extensions folder. Notice that the list of commands is filtered based on your entry. To update the filter list of commands, change extensions to help, view, command palette, help. So you can see all these things. And then from the list of commands, select help. interactive editor background. I'm wondering if you can just do this. Okay, you cannot do it. So you have to go through view, command palette, and then help, something editor template. My memory is failing me. Okay, no need of typing all of it out. So we'll just go to view, command palette, and then there, interactive editor playground. We have gotten that. Help, a list of interactive activities. From the bulleted list of interactive activities, select formatting. This one. Take a minute to read about the formatting options. You'll be using code formatting commands during activities as you learn more. Close the editor playground document that completes your tour. Once you begin coding, the training materials continue to point out ways that Studio Code VS Code can help boost your productivity. So we have been told to read more on the formatting. So keeping your code looking great is hard without a good formatter. Luckily, it's easy to format content either for the entire document with Shift, Alt F, or for the current selection with OK. So it's giving us some notes. Both of these options are also available through the right-click context menu. So we have the first shortcut, which is Shift Alt plus F, for the entire document, or for current selection, which is Control plus K, Control plus F. So I think we can close that editor playground and then go to the next exercise, which is configuring Visual Studio extensions. So we can definitely extend the capabilities of VS Code through extensions, since these ones are add-ons that provide additional functionality to VS Code. There are language extensions, theme extensions, and those that add new features to Visual Studio Code. Okay, so we have .NET platform. So I think those are the two extensions that we will be configuring. So configure Visual Studio Code extensions. So Visual Studio is open, yes. On the activity bar, select extensions here. And then in the search extensions in marketplace text box, enter /. Let's see if it displays anything. Before we know which specific one to use, let's go back to the documentation to show only extensions that have something to do with / coding. In the filtered list of available extensions, select the extension labeled /devkit, this one, published by Microsoft. There's a lot of information that you could read out there if you're interested, but we'll just select install and then we'll come back. We will read, you can read if you have time. So we are currently waiting for the installation to complete. I think we'll just do the whole of this unit, the whole of this learning unit, and then we'll go to what we wanted to learn after we are comfortable with the workings of Visual Studio Code. So after it's done, close the Get Started with /devkit page in the editor. You may see notifications appear when installing. Ignore the notification asking you to log in and close the notification telling you the .NET Core SDK cannot be located. since you are going to install it in the next unit. So I'm thinking the next thing that we should do after this is working around the installations of Git and the workings of GitHub, since the two go hand in hand. So this is the error that we were being told to ignore. So we're going to ignore it since we install it in the next step. So close the get started with C# dev kit in the page editor. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, let's close that one. I hope that's the right one. On the extensions view, clear the C# from the search box. Let me just check again. It's installed since it's not telling us to install. So we can clear this one. And then the extensions view refreshes to show the installed. Okay. We can refresh. So you can see it has installed the C# dev kit. Popular and recommended extensions are listed below the installed extensions. You can click, drag and drop at the top of the popular section down to separate it from the list of installed extensions. Recommended, I don't see any popular ones. Installed, I only see installed and recommended, so we'll just ignore that step. And then notice that installing C# dev kit installs the following extensions: .NET install tool, yes, this one. C# based language support for, yes, and C# dev kit extension from Microsoft. The final extension you need is named Intel Code for C# dev kit. It provides AI-assisted development for the C# dev kit. So in the search extensions marketplace text box, we will search for C# again. C#. In the filter list of available extensions, select the extensions labeled Intel Code for C# dev kit. Intel Code, I believe, yes, this one. Let's install it. AI-assisted, yeah, AI-assisted development for C#. Yes, it's this one. And then click install. The install button changes to installing. Close the Intel code page in the editor. Close, and then we can move to next to install .NET SDK. So while it's still installing, we can read the documentation. The C# dev kit extensions for Visual Studio Code helps you to install the .NET software development kit. It's required to run and debug C# applications. We will install the .NET SDK on our computer. Okay, nice one. It's done, so we can clear this one and then look at the installed extensions, and you see the Intel code for C# is part of the installed extensions. So ensure that you have it open. On the terminal menu, select new terminal. Terminal. Okay, the terminal is open. A command prompt such as should be displayed. Okay, this one. Type .NET version and then press the enter key. Okay, instead of copy pasting everything, I'm just going to write so that I can start training my mind to remember code version, and then press enter. Let's wait and see what it will do. Is not recognized. Okay, interesting. The .NET is not recognized. Mm, okay. Mm-hmm. .NET SDK isn't installed. If a version of .NET is installed, you should see a response message listing the latest the version that you have. Having the latest supported version, although .NET 6, what. Okay, use the following steps to complete this section of the exercise. Type .NET install and then select. Okay, let's try this step. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we are doing. CLS, clear screen, yes, it works. And then .NET. I really doubt this one will work, but let's just see. Yes, it did work. Um, what could be wrong with it? .NET is not recognized as the name of the. Check the spelling of the name. Okay, command not found exception. Mhm. Mhm. This is where we start going to. Okay. Let's go to Microsoft Copilot. There's a specific way to do that. Here's how you can install it. First, ensure you have the required installer script. Okay, let me ignore all that and try this one. I know it might not work. Okay, yeah, it didn't work. Okay, let's go back to our documentation and see what the error is. The C hash dev kit extension. So I wonder if you can do .NET and then helps or something of the sort. Okay, that's too much. Control X, Control Z, yes. I wonder what's wrong. This one is installed. This one is installed. All of these ones are installed. Okay, let's try copying it without. Or maybe we can try to enable Copilot for coding .NET. Okay, that's interesting. Hmm. Or let's just copy. Huh. Let's copy all of this and then try to feed it into Copilot. These are the instructions. Instructions that I am trying to run. Open code, new terminal, check the .NET version. You'll see the version number. Okay, it seems we'll have to do it this way since I'm not getting a proper guidance from the from the documentation. Okay, I hope I hope I hope it's installing. And then okay, we have an issue here. PS1 seems even the first code have an issue. And then okay, we still have issues. Because running scripts is disabled on this system. We have to authorize something. That's an interesting error that I'm receiving. No worries, this is a common issue. Okay. PowerShell, then the same thing we were doing. Hmm. Interesting. So new terminal. So this one was saying command prompt. I think we were running ours on PowerShell. C users. Let's. I don't think it will run. I think we'll still get the same errors. Yes, I had called it. So I think what we should be trying to do is to install .NET. We're trying to do things the wrong way. Okay, let's go to view. Where is it? Yes, view. Okay. View and then command palettes. And then this one, install .NET SDK. Let me just double check to be sure. And then select install new .NET SDK. View command palette. I was trying to jump before I walk. Yes, I think that's the one. There. Okay. Confirming. Okay, it's downloading now, the .NET SDK. So don't try to troubleshoot. I think my capture the flag spirit was coming in and I was trying to troubleshoot things instead of reading the documentation. So let's wait for it to install and then we'll check if it's properly installed, and we'll also check uh, the version that has been installed. So while it downloads, it may take a few minutes and we might need to close Visual Studio again. And after that, we'll need to verify if the .NET 8 SDK is installed. .NET SDK is installed. So, okay, it's still downloading. So we have all the extensions that are required. So firstly, we needed to download and install Visual Studio Code, and then just to examine Visual Studio Code user interface to know where the specific things are, the terminal, the extensions, where to open a new file, where to save, where to edit, where to debug, all those areas. And then to configure the different extensions and the different running environments. And then now we are at installing the .NET SDK. And then next, we'll create and build and run our application. It's still downloading. It's taking quite some time. Okay, do you want yes? Still downloading. Still downloading. As it downloads, maybe I can create a link. I can create links to the resources that we've been using, where to download the Visual Studio Code, where to get the Microsoft Learn module. Mhm. Ignore this. Learning resources. Learn module stroke documentation guidance. Documentation guide. And then Visual Studio Code download link. Mhm. It's done. It's done, it's done, it's done. So I'll do that later. Let's proceed with our installations and our runnings. So check to see if .NET is already installed. I mean, the other step was to verify our installation since we have downloaded the .NET SDK. Maybe before we restart, I mean, before we start, we close the Visual Studio Code. Maybe I can try to check the version and see if it will give anything. So I'll just go back to Visual Studio. Let me open a new terminal. Okay, our terminal is still here. Version still not recognized. So I think I need to close and then open it. Command prompt. .NET. It's not even highlighting it. Let me try it in PowerShell. PowerShell looks more okay. It's not highlighting. Okay. I think we just have to open and then close. Since you have completed this installation. So to avoid wasting a lot of time, let me just close it and then open it again. Okay. Visual Studio. We are looking for Visual Studio Code. And this is one of the reasons why okay, it's here. I was about to say that this is one of the reasons why I pinned it in the desktop, but it has appeared. So it's open. Close the welcome page, open a terminal panel. Close the welcome page. Cannot be located. Error running.net. I don't want the history. So you can kill it, then open it again. View terminal, then .NET version. Okay, we have a problem here. The term .NET is not recognized. It's not recognized. Okay, let's try to look for it again. .NET install. View command palette. Then install the .NET SDK. This one. Why do I think we have installed the wrong .NET? .NET install new .NET SDK. It looks like we have installed the wrong .NET. But what are these errors we're getting? The .NET tools collect. Okay. That one is valid. Oof. So it exists, but when I try to look at the version, it's not giving the version. It's just saying .NET is not installed. So let's try to close it again. And then open Visual Studio Code or run as admin. Yes, no downloads were made as expected. And then it's saying the .NET version installation succeeded. Okay, yeah, we have a win. We have a win. Yeah, we have our .NET. So you can move to the next step. We have verified our installation. Should be similar to that. So we have our .NET installed. So we're ready to start writing and running and debugging our C# applications using Visual Studio Code. So the next step will be creating, building, and running our application. So let's start jogging our coding mind. Includes a CLI that can be assessed from Visual Studio Code's integrated terminal. During this training, you use the .NET CLI commands to create a new console application, build your project code, and run your applications. For example, you'll create a new console application in the specific folder. So we use the prefix .NET new and then console, and then we specify the folder or directory in which we want our application to be running. So the structure of a CLI command consists of the .NET, the driver, and then the command, which is new console in this example, and then the arguments are this. So the arguments are optional, but can be used to provide additional information. So the previous command could be run without specifying the optional folder location. For example, .NET new console, it just creates a console application in your current folder. So we'll use Visual Studio Code to create a new project folder, create a new console application using CLI command, and then customize the application in the Visual Studio Code editor, and then build and run our application. So Visual Studio Code is open. File menu, select open folder. Mm. So let's go to Visual Studio Code, VS Code, and then file, new folder. Okay, we can still use open folder, and then we go to this folder, and then we say new folder, and then we can name it .NET apps, that one. And then we select it. So we will be running it, and then the other thing that I want to do is to stop running it as admin. Okay. So I can choose that, and then for the next one, we'll not run it as admin since that's a risky thing from a security perspective. So in the open folder dialog, navigate to the Windows desktop folder. So this is for a case where you have a folder where you put your maybe programming or your coding projects. You can use that location. So we have opened the folder, and we have selected the folder. Yes, you have passed through this. select new terminal. So let's go to terminal. I think we can close this. So let's go to view and then terminal. So we have a new terminal. The command prompt appeared, it's true. And you can see in the terminal that we select, the folder that it's specifying is the folder which we created. So similarly, if you have selected a folder which was existing, it will also highlight the folder you have chosen. If it's selecting a different folder, then try to choose a different one or create a new folder from start. At the terminal command prompt, to create a new console application in a specified folder, enter the following command. So we mentioned about the parent or something parent, and then new console, and then, okay, oh, not 0. And then I have been calling this thing wrongly in the whole recording. It's C# test project. So these ones are our prefixes, and then yeah, is our project. So the .NET CLI command uses a .NET program template to create a new C# console application project. In the specified folder location, the command creates the C# projects and tests project folders for you and uses test project as the name of your .cs proj file. So in the command that you will write in your terminal, the C# projects and test projects folders will be created. And then it will use test project as the name of your .cs proj file. So let's press enter. The template console app was created successfully. So it has created it successfully. And then the next step, expand the C# projects folder in the Explorer panel. In the Explorer panel, we have the C# projects folder. So this one here, expand it, and then you will see this project with the name that you had given it. Any name, or if you chose the name that was given here, you'll use it. Then the CLI command uses the folder name, just like it says, and then here select to view the the C# code in the editor panel, select program.cs. So we want to view our code in the editor panel to see what has been created and to see the deeper details. So we select this and you can see it has created, this is the code that has been created, console.writeLine hello world. Okay, this app uses console.writeLine method to display hello world in the console window. So methods, all these things, refresher to introduction to programming, maybe something like object-oriented programming. So update, build and run your application. So we are required to open our code projects folder and then customize our hello message and then run our application. Okay, so it's saying in the Visual Studio Code Explorer view, right-click the test project folder. Okay, interesting. Test project folder, and then this one, C# projects test project folder, and then select open in integrated terminal. Okay, we have done that. So before you build or run command, before you enter a build or run command, ensure that your terminal is open to your project folder. Since the terminal was open in the normal folder, in the normal way. So before you build or run, open your project and then edit it in that project folder. So verify that the command prompt in the terminal panel displays the following folder path. Yes. C# projects. Okay, interesting. Let me try this one. Open in integrated terminal. Okay, now we are okay. Test project. In the Visual Studio Code, enter the updated console method as follows. So you can just write anything for this one. For the program CS.cs. So we can say, instead of hello world, we can just say good morning world. The first time you edit a .cs file, VS Code may prompt you to add the missing assets to build and debug your app. Okay, we don't see any of that prompt. So select save. I don't know, I think we can do a shortcut of this, but okay, we'll just select file, save. No notification. Okay, it's okay, just saved. You always need to save your code changes to the file. Code changes that you've made in the editor won't be recognized by the code compiler until the code is saved. Code changes that you've made in the editor won't be recognized by the code compiler until the code is saved. To compile a build of your application, enter the following command at the terminal. So we want to build now, since we have saved our work, .net.build. Is it that way? No, it's not that way, sorry. So .net build. So it's compiling. You can see the amount of minutes that it's taking to compile. And then build successful. Maybe we can go here to see the outputs. No outputs. Okay, terminal. .NET build command builds the project and its dependencies into a set of binaries. The binaries include the project's code in intermediate language. Depending on the project type and settings, other files may also be included. Your folder path will reflect your account to run your application. Okay, yeah. I see where we made the mistake. We built and it's our code built with no errors, but we didn't run. So the next step is running now. Let's see. Good morning, world. And you can see our project is running. So the command runs source code without any explicit compile or launch commands. It provides a convenient option to run your application from the source code with one command. It's useful for fast iterative development from the CLI. The command depends on the .NET build command to build the code. Notice that hello C sharp, in our case, good morning C sharp, good morning world, is displayed in the terminal panel on the line below the .NET run command. If you see hello world displayed, ensure that you have saved your code changes. Okay, I think there should be a shortcut for this. Since I am doing Control S, but I still want to be sure that I have run it. So we have completed our project of setting up Visual Studio Code and building and running a simple line of code. So I think that will be the title for the video. And then definitely the next step is knowledge check. Editor. Which of the following tools is required to run commands line interface? Which of the following tools is required to run command line interface commands such as .NET Run? I am not sure. Yes, we are right. Next. So we have done that and we have completed it. So the next step, we will do what we wanted to do, and that is get into web development in such a manner. We'll just be finding resources and doing it practically, at least through a practical way in C#. We have learned something new. Installing the development environments, installing the extensions, and we have also installed Visual Studio Code, and we have known the various aspects and the various areas in the user interface in Visual Studio Code. So that's it for this video.